Things are clamped down in Stillwater. I'm Barry Trammell along with OSU writer Scott Wright. We're here in the Oklahoman studios a couple of weeks and change before the season opener against Oregon State. And Scott, the news is scarce coming out of Stillwater. Mike Gundy has turned on the padlock. He doesn't want any leakage coming out of the Cowboy football camp. What's that all about?
Well, it's a quarterback race, Barry. We've seen this with Gundy before, maybe not to this extent, but he gets really protective about his quarterbacks when there's a quarterback battle going on. Those guys, we got to speak to them at Media Day, Drew Brown and Spencer Sanders, but they've been off limits to the media since then. We'll see how that changes as things develop. They had a scrimmage over the weekend. Mike Gundy said, if you don't have to be here, you don't get to be here. So a lot of the ancillary people that they can come and hang out and wander around while practices are going on, they were outside the door and when it got locked. So he's really keeping a protective eye on what's going on with this quarterback battle, wanting to make sure that there's not a lot of information getting out, and making sure that he's keeping all of the information that they can within the boundaries of their camp, and it's an interesting move, but not typically out of character for Mike Gundy.
What's the advantage for a team like OSU to not let the first game opponent, in this case Oregon State, know really what's going on with the quarterback? How much of an advantage is that OSU has the surprise element going into that game in Corvallis?
I mean, there's some advantage to it because these guys do have a little bit different skill sets in that Spencer Sanders is a little bit quicker, can move around a little bit more. Maybe you have more quarterback run game involved if you're him, and Drew Brown is a little bit more a little bit more savvy and is going to make some plays in different ways. So. There's a little bit of advantage to that. You've also got the fact that this is Sean Gleason's first year, and information about what he might be doing or things that he's implementing with this offense are being a little bit more protected as well. So that adds another element where Oregon State is not only watching Oklahoma State film from a year ago. They're watching Princeton film from the last couple of years, trying to figure out what they need to be prepared for. Might even be watching some Hawaii film, and just in case they want to see what Drew Brown can do. So they're having to prepare for a lot of things, and minimizing the current information that's getting out has to be a little bit of a benefit.
Finally, let me ask you a question. It's really not answerable. It's more just supposition. But what are the chances that there really is a heated quarterback battle and Mike Gundy and Sean Gleason not sure which direction they want to go yet? And what are the chances that they do know, they just don't want the world to know it yet?
I lean more toward the fact that they really don't know at this point. Now, we're still, as you said, a little over 2 weeks away from game day. I think that things could still change between now and then. But right now, it's hard to imagine this many people who we talk to on a regular basis, at least once a week, as far as interviews and things, being able to keep this ruse up if there's not really an intense quarterback battle going on. So it feels like this is a pretty serious battle right now, and it's a pretty tight race. We'll see how that changes. We'll see, when we get to talk to people this week, how things have changed since the Sunday scrimmage, and what maybe they learned there, what they learned going forward. We get a couple of more chances to talk to people before game week. So there's going to be some developments, and we're not sure how much of that we'll actually get to talk to people about, and we'll see what happens. But I think right now, if they had to play right now, I think two guys would go out there and lead this offense at various times in the Oregon State game.
Well, it's sort of anxious time for OSU fans and media on what's going to happen with the quarterbacks, but it sure makes for a fun season opener, a night of intrigue in Corvallis, Oregon. Stay tuned for further OSU football coverage here at Oklahoman.com and every day in the Oklahoman.